Yeah, all right, Tom Scott. Isn't it amazing how communication occurs in music? I mean, people just get it. And they can fall in love, or they can dance, or they can run faster, or go slower, or calm down, or get over it, or whatever, just by listening to music. Like, I hope Beth, if she actually possibly heard what I was talking about in some earlier segment, that she's got some nice, soft music on right now. And it's just calming her down, you know. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about the 5 or 6 steps about, you know, what is full and complete communication. Now, one thing that did happen on the break is I got a call from a fellow that asked, can we do 2 shows on a topic? And I said, never done it, don't know. And he wanted to know if we could do another show on full and complete communication and keep talking about this and come from different angles. And I'm going to absolutely take a look at that and see if next week we can do that, depending on where I am and in the schedule and so on and so forth. I think
before we forget,
yeah,
you were talking about the story about coming across to the kids.
Oh, yeah,
about
the parenting one.
And,
oh, yeah.
And
that's right, before I went on the break.
You're
what
a big guy,
with, yeah.
and you're kind of loud.
Yeah, now
sometimes.
see, what you're hearing now is holding Clay accountable for doing what he said he was going to do before we went on break, right? So that's the accountability part.
Just a really reminder.
That's in disc number 2, called Taking Care of Me series. All right, now. All right, so what I was saying is that when I'm dealing with my kids, sometimes out of being impatient, I'll look at them with my eyes, and I can do surgery on people with my eyes, and it scares people, especially my kids. And I'm just doing it because I want to get through the issue and hurry up and get it over with because I got other things I want to go do, and it doesn't seem very important to me, but it's very important to them. Plus, it's dad speaking, and to me, my kids think I'm 12 foot tall and 3 feet wide, and I have a voice that kind of goes along with that. So
sounds like a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, really. Communication, is meant to say, look, this is how I feel about this, or here's what the rules are, or anything else. Communication is not designed to say, here's the information, and you're bad, or you're good, or whatever. You understand? So you have to be really careful about not only what you say, but who you're being while you're saying it. Because if you're powerful, sometimes people only hear the power. They don't get the gift. So, have we got somebody on the phone?
We have someone powerful who has a lot of gifts.
Okay.
Well, that's who we'll bring on right now.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Who's on the phone?
This would be the never cranky Beth.
Oh, hi, dear.
Hello. Yes, I heard what you said, and I had to call in defense of myself.
Oh.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Susan.
This is where, hey, I know how to do humble.
You be nice.
Yeah, okay. All right, what's on your mind?
Well, really what I wanted to say was I don't know that I'm cranky so much as I can be an emotional person.
Oh, emotional.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a few other people in the world like that. So
nah.
Could you possibly address how to keep from getting sucked in by emotions rather than focusing on the simple facts surrounding a situation?
Yeah, it's all about, you know how you feel. It's what I call the volcano effect. You know how you feel when you listen to somebody, and I tell you, there's just a volcano building up inside of you. And it doesn't have to be anger. It could just be feelings. It could just be, clarity that the person that's talking to you doesn't get how much you care, or they don't get how much they're hurting your feelings, or they don't get that you just didn't understand, and that's all it is, and that they're making a mountain out of a molehill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the real point is how can you just forgive on your feet, and there's the key, by the way, and just let whatever the emotions come up and go right out your ears or out your fingertips. Just let it go, and then communicate once the other person is through talking. You ask permission to shoot straight and just go, I got to tell you, what you said to me hurt my feelings, made me mad, shut me down, and everything else. But I care about you enough that I'm not going to be stopped. Now, here's how I feel. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. You got it?
Yep.
Now, of course, I would never say that to you, of course. But you could use it as a tool with all your other friends except for me. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's great, and you have taught me well. So I'm glad you shared that with the rest of the world.
Okay, cool, Beth. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, honey. All right, now, God, I lived.
You're so human, Clay. You really are.
I
You
am.
just even these tools can work on
his
you.
behalf.
Yeah,
Exactly.
did you notice how I kind of talked my way out of that one?
You did. That was nicely done.
God. Okay, let me see. Zig Ziglar said, remember, what you say comes back to you.
Yes, it does.
Okay, gee. I just read that one without really reading it. I just zinged myself.
Yes, you did.
Oh, my God.
You zigged yourself.
I zigged myself, yes.
That's even better.
Oh, you're on a roll, Susan.
I
Yes.
am.
Okay, now this should be the Beth and Susan show. Yes. All right, now, point number one in full and point number one in full and complete communication is effective communication is as much about what you say or are saying as it is about who you're being when you say it. A lot of people really say some really great things or powerful things, all right, when they're being less than powerful, all right? Like a lot of people do really great things while they're being jerks. So think about that. A lot of things can happen when you're not present to who you're being. You create fear. And remember, we talked about how I had to learn how to modulate. That's how I got this radio show. It's out of my modulation ability. Okay, and what about body English? Have you ever talked to somebody who was just talking about things and they're flailing their arms around, walking and pacing and beating on the desk and do all kinds of things? Or how about this? What if you're talking about some very sensitive thing and your hair's in a mohawk and with purple tips, and you've got, beads hanging out to your earlobes and all kinds of things? What do you think people are going to be looking at? Got it? Now, nothing wrong with mohawks and beads hanging off you. Don't send me emails talking to me about, oh my God, you're against body piercings and stuff. I am not. I'm just saying you got to be responsible for how people listen. And a lot of times what you're wearing creates a filter between what people hear and what you say.
Clay, since we have a few minutes left in this segment, I want to get an email in here from Chad, who says, what do you do when you stop and ask for clarification on what someone's saying and you still don't get it? They're talking over your head and they don't understand that they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, know this, that if they're talking over your head in a group, all right, then you can pretty much be guaranteed that 2 or 3 other people, if not half the room or the entire room, is being talked over.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of chutzpah to stand up and say, I don't get it. Please repeat it. It takes a lot of chutzpah. And if the speaker can get it, if the speaker's all about themselves and all about hearing themselves speak and not about the listener getting what he speaks or she speaks, then you got a problem. But most speakers, when they speak, if you stand up and say, I don't get it, boy, they'll find a way so that you do, because they understand the whole room needs to hear it a different way.
If you're talking one-on-one with someone, does that kind of thing work also?
Well, I call that the knee-to-knee conversation. Is where the best way to find out whether you really get it and understand it is, can you repeat it? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, if you don't understand something, you want to say, excuse me, did you say da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And then the speaker will say either yes or no. All right. Now, what happens if you can repeat it, but you still don't understand it? What happens if you got a flash memory, you're doing really great, but you still don't get what it means? So who's responsible? All right. The listener's responsible to say, I don't understand it, and the speaker's responsible to find a different way to say it so they can. The communication is all about someone saying something and someone else understanding what's been said. Communication is all about commitment to make a difference, and the listener is committed to allow the difference to be made. Got it? It's called family. It's called team. 2 human beings communicate. There is no communication if there is no understanding. Now, full and complete communication, step number 2, and this is what we were talking about earlier, is if you don't understand or you have an upset or whatever, the key to this, and if you don't get anything else on this segment of the radio show, ladies and gentlemen, write this one down. You want to ask permission with anybody. You want to ask permission to shoot straight. Ask permission to shoot straight. Does a couple of things. One, it gets their attention. When you ask somebody, hey, pardon me, but can I shoot straight with you? Think about that. If somebody said that to you, would that get your attention? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. Now, what happens if you ask somebody, hey, can I shoot straight with you? And they say no. Then what do you say back? You say, well, could you get your calendar so we can make a date so I could shoot straight with you? What do you think?
Clay, can I shoot straight with you?
Oh, another break.
I think so.
All right. You're listening to Clay Nelson Life Balance Hour on Full and Complete Communication. I think it's going to be segment number 1. We might have to do this again next week. We're having too much fun. So you're listening to KZSB AM 1290 in Santa Barbara. Get on back here because I'm communicating.